You are listening to the best audio story of 2026. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and watch until the end so you don't miss the ending that will leave everyone stunned. She said she was working late until her husband saw her on a restaurant live stream. Michael Bennett had learned to eat dinner alone without making it look sad. That was a skill. Marriage had taught him slowly. He set one plate at the kitchen island instead of the dining table. He reheated food in small portions, so the empty chair across from him did not feel like an accusation. He kept the television on low in the living room, not because he watched it, but because silence made the house feel larger than it was. That Thursday night, rain tapped against the windows of their Nashville home, soft and steady. The kitchen smelled of garlic, roasted chicken, and rosemary potatoes, Claire's favorite. Michael had left work early for once. He had stopped at the grocery store, bought fresh ingredients, and cooked without telling her because he wanted the evening to feel like a beginning. They had been drifting. Not fighting, drifting. That was worse in some ways. Fighting meant people were still trying to reach each other through anger. Drifting was quieter. Two people standing in the same house, moving farther apart without saying the distance out loud. Michael knew he had been partly responsible. His job as operations director for a medical group had consumed him for months. Meetings ran late. Calls interrupted dinner. Emails followed him to bed. Claire had stopped complaining after a while, and Michael, foolishly, had treated her silence as patience instead of warning. So he cooked dinner. He lit 2 candles. He even put his phone in a drawer. At 7:06 p.m., just as he was setting the salad on the counter, his phone buzzed from inside the drawer. He almost ignored it. Then he thought it might be Claire. It was. Claire, I'm so sorry, babe. Emergency deadline. I have to work late again. Don't wait up. Michael stood still for a moment. The rain tapped harder. He looked at the 2 plates on the counter. The candles, the food, the quiet little effort he had made. Then he typed, "No worries. I made dinner, but I'll save you some. Hope it goes okay." A few seconds later, she replied, "You the best. Love you." Michael stared at the words. Love you. He wanted to feel warmed by them. Instead, he felt the familiar disappointment of a man trying not to seem disappointed. He blew out 1 candle, then the other. He put Claire's plate in the refrigerator, carried his own to the kitchen island, and ate slowly while the rain blurred the windows. He told himself she was working hard. Claire had always been ambitious. She was a senior marketing strategist at a luxury hospitality firm downtown. Her schedule was unpredictable. Client calls, campaign launches, brand events, late presentations, emergency deadlines. Michael had always admired that about her. She was polished, capable, respected. He never wanted to be the kind of husband who resented his wife's success. So he swallowed the loneliness with the chicken. At 7:42 p.m., his friend Daniel texted him a link. "Daniel, isn't this that restaurant Claire kept talking about? The Glass Room is live streaming their chef event tonight. Looks fancy as hell." Michael clicked because he had nothing else to do. The live stream opened on his laptop. The Glass Room was one of Nashville's trendiest restaurants' glass walls, low lighting, live music, famous chefs, impossible reservations. Claire had mentioned it several times. She said the firm might pitch them as a client. She said the menu looked amazing. She said she wanted to go someday when things calmed down. On screen, a chef in a white jacket arranged tiny pieces of food on a black plate, while a host spoke excitedly about the restaurant's new seasonal menu. Behind him, the dining room glowed with amber light. Guests laughed over wine glasses. A pianist played near the bar. Servers moved through the room like shadows. Michael watched without much interest at first. Then the camera panned across the dining room, and he saw a woman in a red dress. His hand froze over the keyboard. The camera kept moving. Michael leaned closer. No, it couldn't be. The woman sat in a corner booth near the back wall, half turned toward a man across from her. Her dark hair was pinned loosely at the nape of her neck. She wore the gold earrings Michael had bought Claire for their 6th anniversary. Michael stopped breathing. It was Claire, not in an office, not buried in reports, not working late. Claire was sitting inside the Glass Room with Ryan Cole. Ryan Cole, the polished client liaison from her firm's hospitality campaign. The man she had described as brilliant but exhausting. The man Michael had met twice at corporate events. The man Claire once said could sell champagne to a monk. Michael stared at the screen. Maybe it was a business dinner. The thought came immediately, desperate and weak. Maybe she had not wanted to explain because he might feel disappointed. Maybe the emergency deadline had moved to a client dinner. Maybe Ryan was only a colleague. Then, Ryan reached across the table and touched Claire's hand. Not the way a colleague touched someone, not even the way a friend did. His thumb moved slowly over her knuckles. Claire smiled. Michael knew that smile. Or rather, he used to. It was the smile she had given him years ago when they were newly married and still meeting each other's eyes across crowded rooms. The live stream cut back to the chef. Michael sat frozen at the kitchen island while his laptop continued playing cheerful restaurant commentary. His phone buzzed again. He looked down. Claire, still buried in reports. This night is brutal. I'll be home late. Love you. Michael slowly lifted his eyes to the laptop. The stream returned to the dining room. Claire laughed at something Ryan said. Michael read the text again. Still buried in reports. On screen, a waiter approached their table with champagne. Michael whispered, Claire. No answer came. Only rain. Only the live stream. Only his wife's lie unfolding live on the screen, while her dinner sat untouched in the refrigerator. Michael and Claire had not always been lonely together. They met 10 years earlier, at a downtown fundraiser for a children's hospital. Michael was there, representing the medical group. Claire was part of the marketing team, organizing the event. She wore a black dress, a headset, and the intense expression of a woman holding an entire evening together through sheer will. Michael first noticed her arguing with a florist. These arrangements are too tall, she said. The florist looked offended. They're elegant. They're blocking donor eye contact. Rich people give more money when they can see each other, pretending to be generous. Michael laughed before he could stop himself. Claire turned. You think I'm wrong? No, he said. I think I'm terrified by how right you are. She smiled. That was the beginning. Their first years were full of energy. Claire challenged him. Michael steadied her. She was creative and sharp. He was practical and patient. She made their life brighter. He made it safer. They married after 2 years. In their early marriage, they had rituals. Friday night takeout, Sunday morning walks, no phones at dinner, one trip every year, even if they could only afford a cabin 2 hours away. Then, life became more impressive and less intimate. Claire's career grew. Michael's responsibilities grew. Their house became nicer. Their conversations became shorter. At first, Claire tried to talk about it. One night, 3 months before the live stream, she stood in the bedroom doorway, while Michael answered emails. Do you miss me? She asked. Michael looked up, confused. You're standing right there. That's not what I mean. He closed the laptop halfway. Claire, I'm exhausted. I know. Can we not do this tonight? She smiled, sadly. That's what I mean. He sighed. I love you. I know you do. Then why does it sound like that isn't enough? Claire looked at him for a long time. Because sometimes love feels like something you remember after everything else is done. He promised to do better. He meant it. That was the cruel part. He meant every apology, but meaning something is not the same as changing. For a week, he came home earlier. Then a staffing crisis hit. Then budget meetings. Then travel. Then late calls. Then ordinary fatigue. Claire stopped asking. Michael mistook that for peace. Ryan called it not. Ryan entered her life through work, but he became dangerous by listening. He noticed when Claire looked tired after meetings. He complimented her ideas before criticizing them. He remembered things she mentioned once. He asked questions that did not sound like tasks. At first, Claire talked about him openly. Ryan thinks the hotel launch needs a warmer story. Ryan says the client hates the campaign but likes me too much to say it. Ryan is impossible, but he's smart. Then she stopped mentioning him. Michael did not notice. By the time he did, she had already begun calling late nights, deadlines, and secret dinners, client meetings. The live stream continued. Michael watched as if he were watching a crime scene in real time. The camera did not focus on Claire and Ryan directly. They were background, a corner of the restaurant's beautiful public performance. But that somehow made it worse. They were not hiding in darkness. They were sitting beneath expensive lights, surrounded by strangers, confident that the world was too busy to notice them. The host walked past their section with a microphone. For 3 seconds, Claire and Ryan appeared clearly behind him. Ryan leaned toward her. Claire tilted her head close. He whispered something in her ear. She laughed, then placed her hand over his. Michael clicked screen record. His hands shook. He hated that he was recording his own humiliation. But denial had already begun forming in his mind, searching for loopholes. He needed proof before pain rewrote itself into doubt. At 8:03 p.m., The live stream cut to a wide shot of the dining room. Ryan lifted Claire's hand and kissed it. Michael stopped the recording, then started it again. He stood so suddenly, his chair scraped backward. For a moment, he considered driving to the restaurant. Walking in, dragging the lie into the middle of the dining room, making every person turn and see what he had seen. But he did not. Not because he lacked courage, because he wanted to hear her lie first. That thought scared him. At 8:11, Claire texted again. Claire, don't stay up for me. I'll probably grab something from the office vending machine. Michael looked toward the refrigerator, where the dinner he made for her waited. He typed nothing. On the live stream, a waiter placed dessert between Claire and Ryan. 2 spoons. Michael closed the laptop, then opened it again. He watched until Claire and Ryan left the frame. At 9:26 p.m., the restaurant livestream ended. Michael sat in the quiet kitchen. Rain still fell. The food had gone cold. He began checking, not wildly, methodically. Past credit card statements, parking charges, ride-share receipts, restaurant names he did not recognize, nights when Claire had claimed deadlines, locations that did not match her office. The pattern emerged quickly, because betrayal often looks random only until someone begins arranging the pieces. 3 weeks earlier, working late, parking charge near Midtown restaurant. 5 weeks earlier, client emergency ride-share to boutique hotel bar. 2 months earlier, presentation prep dinner for 2 at the Amber Room. Last month, team strategy session, late charge at a wine lounge. Ryan's name appeared in calendar invites. Professional at first, then vague. RC campaign review. See final notes. RC, late sync. Michael stared at the last one. Late sync. He almost laughed. He remembered telling Claire he was proud of how hard she worked. He remembered leaving encouraging notes on the counter. You've got this. Proud of you. He remembered reheating dinner and feeling guilty for missing her. Now he understood. He had been respecting her ambition while she used it as camouflage. Claire came au matin 38 p.m. Michael was sitting at the kitchen table. The house was dark except for the light above the stove and the glow from his laptop. Claire entered quietly, carrying her purse and wearing a beige trench coat over the red dress. She looked tired, professionally tired, carefully tired. Hey, she whispered, as if he had been sleeping. Michael looked at her. She smiled weakly. Why are you still up? He did not answer. She set her purse down. Tonight was brutal. The word landed like glass. Brutal. Michael leaned back. How was the office? Claire removed her coat slowly. Awful. The reports were a mess. Ryan and the team kept changing numbers. I barely looked up for hours. Ryan? She had said his name. Michael felt something inside him go cold and still. And dinner? He asked. She frowned. What? You said you might grab vending machine food. Oh, she looked toward the kitchen. I had a granola bar. I'm not really hungry. Michael nodded. I made chicken. Her expression softened with practiced guilt. Babe, I'm sorry. I didn't know the deadline would explode. He stared at her. There was a strange cruelty in being lied to by someone still using tenderness. Claire stepped toward him. I'll eat some tomorrow. She leaned down to kiss him. Michael moved back. She froze. What's wrong? He turned the laptop toward her. The screen showed the paused live stream recording. Claire in the corner booth. Ryan kissing her hand. For a moment, she did not understand what she was seeing. Then she did. Her face drained of color. Michael pressed play. The restaurant music came softly through the speakers. The host spoke about seasonal flavors. In the background, Claire laughed with Ryan, leaned close, let him touch her hand. Michael stopped the video. You said you were working late, he said. I watched you live at dinner with him. Claire's mouth opened. Nothing came out. He played the next clip. Ryan kissing her hand. Michael's voice sharpened. That wasn't business. That was betrayal with a reservation. Claire gripped the back of a chair. Michael? No. She flinched. No more office. No more reports. No more emergency deadline. Tell me the truth. Tears filled her eyes. It started as work. Michael laughed once, bitterly. That is not the truth. That is the introduction to an excuse. Claire covered her mouth. He stood. How long? She began crying. How long, Claire? 4 months. The room seemed to tilt. 4 months. 4 months of late dinners. Encouraging texts. Lonely nights. Work excuses. Physical? She closed her eyes. Yes. Michael turned away. Even after everything he had seen, the words still hit like something new. Claire sobbed. I'm sorry. He looked back at her. Don't start there. What? Don't start with sorry. Start with what you did. She shook her head, crying. I had an affair with Ryan. Again. Michael? Again. I had an affair with Ryan. Again. Her voice broke. I had an affair with Ryan. Michael nodded once. Now the room had a foundation of truth, however ugly. Claire sat down as if her legs could no longer hold her. I felt invisible, she whispered. I believe you. She looked up, startled. Michael's eyes were wet now. I believe I failed you. I believe I made work the center of our life. I believe I stopped seeing you the way I should have. I believe you tried to tell me. Claire cried harder. But loneliness could have been a conversation, he said. Betrayal was a choice. She bowed her head. He pointed to the laptop. I was proud of how hard you worked. I never knew your late nights had nothing to do with work. Claire whispered. Not all of them. Michael's face tightened. Do not bargain over percentages of betrayal. She went silent. He continued. You used the one thing I respected about you, your ambition to hide the thing that would destroy me. I know. Do you? Because I made dinner tonight. I lit candles. I put my phone away. I thought maybe we could start finding each other again. Claire looked toward the refrigerator and broke down completely. Michael looked away. He did not want her tears to become the center of the room. They were not the injury. They were the consequence. Michael did not sleep that night. Claire stayed in the guest room. After he told her he could not share a bed with someone who had come home, dressed in a lie, he sat in the living room until dawn, replaying only one part of the night. Not the hand kiss, not the champagne, not even the red dress. The text, still buried in reports. That was the image that hurt most. Claire typing the lie while sitting across from Ryan. Maybe smiling, maybe letting him watch her send it. Michael imagined her phone in her lap beneath the restaurant table, her fingers moving quickly, her face calm. That was what betrayal did. It made a person inspect details they never wanted. At 6:30 a.m., Claire came downstairs. Her eyes were swollen. Michael was at the kitchen table with printed statements, screenshots, and the Livestream clip saved to a drive. She stopped. Are you sending that to someone? No. Please don't. He looked at her. That's your first concern? No, I just, that the clip might get out? That people might know? Claire looked ashamed. I deserve that. I am not interested in public revenge. Relief crossed her face, and he hated that too. I'm interested in truth, he said. She nodded slowly. He pushed the papers toward her. Explain these. She looked down. One by one, the late nights became confessions. The wine lounge, the boutique hotel bar, the midtown restaurant, the strategy session, the camping review. Not every late work night had been a lie, but enough to poison all the others. Claire explained that Ryan had made her feel seen. He noticed when she was tired. He listened without checking his watch. He made her feel desired, not merely respected. Michael listened. Then he said, And did he know you were married? Yes. Did that trouble him? At first. Michael gave it a smile. How noble. Claire wiped her face. I ended it last night. Michael stared at her. After I caught you. She flinched. Yes. That is not the same thing as choosing truth. I know. Do you love him? She closed her eyes. I thought I did. And now? I think I loved how I felt around him. Michael nodded slowly. That sounds honest. It is. It's also too late to be comforting. She cried silently. By 8 a.m., Michael had made one decision. You need to leave for a while. Claire looked up sharply. Michael, please. I don't know what happens next, but I know I can't heal inside the same house where you keep explaining your affair in the kitchen. She covered her face. Where should I go? Your sister. A hotel. Anywhere. Not Ryan. Her voice cracked. I won't go to him. I no longer know what your promises weigh. That sentence hurt both of them. Claire packed a bag before noon. Before she left, she stood in the doorway holding her suitcase. I did love you, she said. Michael looked at her. I believe you. Her face crumpled with relief. Then he added, That almost makes it worse. She nodded. Because it did. If she had never loved him, the betrayal would have been simpler. But love had existed. And she had lied anyway. Michael confronted Ryan 2 days later, outside the glass room. He chose the restaurant deliberately. Ryan had ignored his calls, then finally responded to one message. Meet me where I saw you. Ryan arrived in a grey coat, looking tired but composed. Michael was waiting near the side entrance. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ryan said, I'm sorry. Michael almost smiled. You don't get to make that word small enough to carry. Ryan looked down. Claire was unhappy. There it is, Michael said. Ryan's jaw tightened. It's true. I know it is. Ryan looked surprised. Michael stepped closer. My marriage had problems. I had problems. Claire had pain. None of that gave you permission to turn my trust into an opportunity. Ryan looked toward the restaurant windows. She came to me too. Yes. Her betrayal belongs to her. Yours belongs to you. Ryan's expression hardened. We didn't mean for it to go this far. You made reservations. Ryan said nothing. Michael continued. You sat in a public restaurant with my wife while she texted me that she was working late. Ryan's face flickered with shame. Michael noticed. You knew she sent that text. Ryan did not answer. That was answer enough. Michael felt the rage rise, but his voice stayed low. You watched her lie to me in real time. Ryan swallowed. She said your marriage was basically over. Michael laughed once. Men like you always need the marriage to be over before the husband knows. Ryan looked angry now. I love her. Michael shook his head. No, you love the version of her that could lie to her husband for you. The words landed. Ryan looked away. Michael stepped back. I won't warn you twice. Stay away from me. Stay away from my home. If Claire chooses to ruin more of her life with you, that's on her. But you and I are done, Ryan said softly. I never wanted to hurt you. Michael looked at him one last time. You wanted what hurt me. That's close enough. Then he walked away. Inside the restaurant, people laughed over lunch, unaware that a marriage had been publicly exposed there days earlier. Michael wondered how many private disasters happen in beautiful rooms. Too many, probably. The livestream clip did not go viral. That was the one mercy. The restaurant took the stream down after 24 hours. Michael never posted it. Daniel, who had sent the link, eventually called. Mike, he said carefully, did you see something weird on that livestream? Michael closed his eyes. Yeah, that was Claire, wasn't it? A long silence. Yes. Daniel exhaled. I'm sorry, man. Michael waited for advice. None came. That made Daniel a good friend. Still, the humiliation remained, not because thousands of strangers had watched. Most had not noticed her, but because they could have, because the betrayal had sat in public, under lights, while Michael sat at home, believing in work deadlines and vending machine dinners. Claire's professional world cracked too, not publicly at first. But she took leave from work. Ryan was reassigned from the campaign, then resigned under vague circumstances. Office rumors spread. People always notice when two people stop appearing in the same rooms. Claire moved into her sister's guest room and began therapy. At first, she tried to talk mostly about loneliness. Her therapist listened, then asked, What did you choose? Claire cried. I chose Ryan. What else? I chose to lie. What else? I chose to use work as cover. What else? I chose to let Michael support the ambition I was using to deceive him. That sentence stayed with her. She wrote Michael a letter 3 weeks later. The live stream did not destroy our marriage. It only showed the lie I was already living. I used your respect for my career as a shield for my betrayal. You trusted me when I said I was working late, and I turned that trust into camouflage. I was lonely, but I should have told you the truth before I became someone who could text you from another man's table. I'm sorry. Michael read the letter twice, then put it in a drawer. Not forgiven. Not discarded. Stored. That was all he could manage. They tried counseling. Michael agreed because he wanted to know whether anything could be saved, and because part of him still loved Claire. That part angered him, but it was real. In the first session, Claire confessed clearly. No mistake. No, it just happened, she said. I had an affair. Michael appreciated that, and hated that there was anything to appreciate. In the second session, he admitted his failures. I made work more important than the marriage, he said. I gave Claire apologies instead of changes. I admired her career, but I didn't ask enough about her heart. Claire cried. The counselor asked Michael what hurt most. He said, The text. Claire looked at him. Not the live stream, the counselor asked. That hurt, but the text. Michael paused. She was there with him while telling me she was buried in reports. It means she knew exactly where I thought she was. She knew I was at home respecting her work. She typed a lie anyway. Claire covered her face. I know. Michael looked at her. I made dinner that night. I know. No, you didn't. Not then. She cried silently. He continued. I was waiting for the version of you I thought was working hard to come home. That woman didn't exist, Claire whispered. She did sometimes. Michael shook his head. That's the problem. Now I don't know when. Counseling clarified the truth, but did not repair the trust. Claire ended all contact with Ryan. She resigned from the project. She wrote accountability letters. She told her sister the full truth. She stopped using work as a shield. Michael believed she was sorry. He also believed he could not rebuild. The final conversation happened 4 months after the live stream. They met in a quiet park near the river. Claire looked thinner, tired, less polished. Michael looked older. She spoke first. Is there any chance? Michael looked at the water. I may forgive you someday. Her eyes filled. But I cannot go back to a marriage where every late night becomes a question. She nodded slowly. I understand. I respected your ambition, he said. You used that respect to hide your affair. Claire closed her eyes. I know. You made me feel guilty for missing you while you were choosing someone else. The words broke her. I'm sorry. I know. I did feel invisible. I believe you. And I should have said it louder. Yes. I should have left before lying. Yes. I should have done anything except what I did. Michael looked at her then. Yes. There was no cruelty in the word, only truth. They decided to divorce quietly, not because love had completely disappeared, because trust had, and love without trust had become a room neither of them could breathe in. Months later, Michael cooked dinner for one again. This time, it did not feel the same. It was autumn. The rain had returned, tapping gently against the windows just as it had that night. He made pasta, nothing elaborate. No candles. No second plate waiting in hope. He sat at the kitchen island. The house was quiet, but the quiet was honest now. No false text message. No hidden dinner downtown. No live stream glowing on the laptop. No wife pretending to be buried in reports while laughing over champagne. Michael opened his laptop briefly. For a moment, his fingers hovered near the browser history where the old restaurant link had once lived. The clip was long gone. The page unavailable. Good. He closed the laptop. He had kept one screenshot in a legal folder, then later deleted it after the divorce finalized. Not because the image no longer mattered, but because he no longer needed proof of pain to believe himself. He knew what happened. That was enough. His phone buzzed. A message from Daniel. You eating or pretending coffee is dinner again? Michael smiled faintly. Eating. Actual food. Proud of you. Low bar, but proud. Michael laughed. It surprised him. The sound filled the kitchen, small but real. He looked around the house. It was not the home he thought he had been protecting. That home had been partly imagined, but it was still his, still standing, still capable of holding a life that did not require lies to function. He thought of Claire sometimes, not with the sharp pain of the first weeks, but with a complicated sadness. He hoped she became honest. Not for him, for herself, for whoever she might love someday. For the woman she had been before ambition became a mask, and loneliness became an excuse. Claire, in another apartment across town, was learning slowly. She no longer worked late without being clear about where she was. She no longer used career language to hide emotional truths. In therapy, she wrote one sentence again and again until she believed it. If I feel lonely, I must speak before I disappear. Ryan moved to another city after losing his position and several clients. Michael heard this from Daniel and felt almost nothing. That was healing too. Not forgiveness exactly, not peacefully, but the absence of interest in the man who had once seemed central to his pain. A year later, Michael walked past the glass room. He had avoided that street for months. The restaurant still glowed beautifully at night. Through the glass, people sat at tables, laughing, leaning close, holding hands, making memories that might be innocent or not. A camera stood near the open kitchen for another promotional event. Michael stopped outside. For a second, the old image returned. Claire in the red dress. Ryan touching her hand. The text arriving on his phone, still buried in reports. The pain came, then passed. Not completely, but enough. Michael looked at the restaurant and understood something he had not understood that night. The live stream had not ruined his marriage. The affair had. The camera had only told the truth in public because the truth had been denied in private. That mattered. It meant he had not destroyed his own life by clicking a link. Daniel had not destroyed it by sending one. The internet had not destroyed it. Claire's choices had. Ryan's choices had. And Michael's own failures, while real, were not the same as betrayal. He continued walking. His phone remained in his pocket. No recording, no replay, no need. Work can explain late nights, missed dinners, and tired voices, but it cannot excuse betrayal. When someone uses ambition as a cover for deception, the truth may appear in the most unexpected place, even on a restaurant live stream, where one camera can expose the lie a marriage was never meant to carry. Michael had once thought being alone at dinner was the saddest thing. He knew better now. The saddest thing was waiting faithfully for someone who had already chosen to sit at another table. Now, when he ate alone, there was no lie beside him, and that made the quiet feel less like abandonment. It felt, slowly, like peace.